Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order our April 21st public hearing and budget presentation meeting. We have an agenda before us. Are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, we will move forward. Our first order of business is a budget presentation by our county administrator, Mr. Sam McLaren. Mr. McLaren?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to you and the members of the board. This is our fiscal year 26 budget presentation, and then of course we'll have a public hearing after I go give a snapshot of where we are currently with the proposed, advertised, and draft budget for fiscal year 26. Right now, the county has a total proposed budget of a little better than $287 million. Just as our current year, it's a little bit less actually than the current year, but that's primarily because of a little bit smaller capital project, albeit still a very significant capital project, and this proposed budget with the new elementary school. Was a reassessment year. In Culpeper County, we do that every 2 years. Assessment increase there, you see that highlighted a little better than 17% across the board. Some people may have seen a lot more than that. Some people may have seen around that or a little bit less. All that to say that 1 cent currently of real estate tax in Culpeper County generates $969,560. And you see the current number that's up from this previous year, current year. One other sign of a county fiscal health is your fund balance. Right now, our financial policy for the county dictates that we should have a fund balance of 10 to 15% of our operational budget. With the projected budget, we will be within that. We'll actually will be a smidgen over that 15% mark at 15.53% there, with a fund balance of $35.7 million. And that is critical as we move forward with a lot of potential other capital projects that the county may be looking at in the future. Just some notable operational increases that we are proposing and seeing in the draft budget. There are salary increases there that's made up of cost of living, and I actually have a slide that explains that a little bit better. Health insurance, there are some new positions that have been requested this year as the county continues to grow. Jail services, you see an increase there, an increase in Culpeper Human Services. General properties really is just maintenance, primarily maintenance of all the county facilities. Increase in the school request, Culpeper Youth Network, and then Fire and Rescue Association, there is an increase proposed there as well. Going back to the new positions that are requested for this year, for this coming fiscal year, there's one full-time community engagement position, which is also to support FOIA requests, FOIA work there with the county attorney's office. A full-time clerk position for Mr. Beard in his office there at the clerk's office. A full-time electrician for buildings and grounds, parks and rec coordinator position, one full-time finance person. Sheriff is requesting, well, in the current budget as proposed, he was requesting more, but the current budget has 3 full-time sheriff deputy positions, a new part-time library position, and 1 part-time to full-time position for options. Going back to one of the larger notable increases, just to explain the salary treatments for existing county staff, the COLA, or cost of living, what came to 3.1%, and you can see what that equals there, $963,000. Pay for performance is something that the county's adopted in the personnel management plan for a number of years, anywhere from 0 to 3%, but on average, you see there at the bottom, based on performance reviews, was 1.9%. With any locality and Culpeper included, schools sometimes is a large percentage of your overall budget, and it still continues to be for Culpeper County. There's an expenditure summary there that they're asking an increase, a little better than 5.2 million increase, but their revenues also have increased, state revenues, federal revenues as well, at 4.5%, but there's still a shortfall in their proposed budget. They have come before the Board of Supervisors, requested $752,758 in additional local dollars to this current proposed fiscal year. And that is an increase there of 2.1% over this current year. Human Services or Department of Social Services, there's a request for an additional $282,617 for this fiscal year. Over the next 3 years, Human Services is trying to bring their salaries for their baseline positions up to the market for the area. Right now, on average, their study indicates they're 27% below the market rate for most of their DSS positions. This is an effort to get those to a market rate. Under the CIP, and that was posted as well on board docs, all the details of the draft CIP for the next 5 years, capital improvements plan. The total is $49 million, but large and big part of that is the $42 million that is set aside currently for the new elementary school. The other line items that you see listed there on the screen, they're not detailed projects. As I said, those are posted on board docs with the actual project document. But those are broken down as far as general fund expenditures with each of those categories there. And from the total, you're looking at a little better than $5.3 million out of the county's general fund to support those capital projects. And that actually is a little bit less, or quite a bit less than the last couple of years we've seen. One of the big things, and that's a little bit different than what we have experienced in recent years, is not only having the debt, but paying for the debt. So this year there's a debt payment due this coming fiscal year for interest only. You're looking at $5.5 million to service the debt that the county's taken on for the renovation of Culpeper Middle School and for the new elementary school that is proposed, elementary school number 7. Just wanted to remind the board that that is our starting point for this debt cycle for those 2 projects at 5.5. It will go up next year, as you can see on the schedule, and actually go up a little bit more even beyond that in fiscal years 29 and 30. This does not include the future debt payments currently for the $25 million literary loan that we will need in addition to those loans that we've received, or the bonds that we've received through the bond market. As far as the big picture goes, what we're looking at currently, when you look at all the various line items, the county departments, the new debt, the debt payments, and you look at what our revenues are projected to be, we're still facing a shortfall of approximately $5.5 million. And as you can tell, that kind of mirrors the debt payment to a large degree this year, and that's kind of where we are. And with the advertised budget that you saw in the paper there, we're looking at a potential increase of 3 cents. What was advertised to 44 cents. It's less than your 47 now, but the equalized rate is 41. So in reality, it's a potential 3 cent equalized increase up to that 41 cents. It is broken down further, and I'll get to that after this screen here. Taxes are obviously one source of revenue for the county to operate. Real estate and personal property are your 2 primary sources every year. But we do have other funds, proffer funds. The county has received about $1.7 million with some recent developments. And those funds, the board is asked to prepare in this budget to use those funds to balance the budget this year. So all 1.7 has been included in this proposed draft budget. In addition, the county has managed to set aside funds for debt management, which has come into play this year as we take on new debt for the 2 big school projects. As you can see there, the county set aside a little better than $6 million over the past several years. The board has discussed using up to about $2 million of that. In the current proposed draft budget, we have less than $2 million. I think it's like $800,000 coming from that fund currently. But that's with 44 cents. The tax rate, no changes to personal property tax rates are proposed. Includes maintaining the $3 rate for vehicles for an additional year. That was lowered several years near the COVID time frame. However, as I mentioned before, the real estate tax is proposed to be increased. And there are listed things that I've already actually gone over. I won't go back over those. The way our tax rates are advertised and set, there is a separate fire and rescue levy. There's 8 cents set aside currently as proposed in this budget. So as it would be broken down potentially with 44 cents, it would be 36 cents towards general fund and then 8 cents set aside or specifically for the fire and rescue operations. Capital contributions that you see are separate and they're not included in that levy, that 8 cent levy. This just shares our current personal property rate tax schedule. You see FY25, the current fiscal year, and then proposed, there's no changes. Where we are proposing changes in the draft budget is to the real estate tax rate. This gives you a snapshot over the past several years. And you can see last year there was a 1 cent increase, and this year, as advertised, is 3 cents. Just a brief slide to illustrate that the potential impact to the real estate tax increase there. Your average home value is around $488,300. So your current average bill, if you will, is a little better than $2,000, $2,295. And you can see there at the bottom, the equalized rate is 41 cents. If you were to go to the 3 cents as advertised, which is a little better than a 7% increase, you're looking at a $146 plus on the average bill. If you go something less, like a 2 cent increase, you're looking at less than $100. Regional comparison, Culpeper still sits in a really good position compared when you look at our adjoining localities as far as both our personal property tax rate and our real estate tax rate. Just wanted to highlight a couple. Those that you see, they're kind of in the middle column are what are currently proposed or advertised. Each county is going through their own budget hearings and budget schedules now, and I don't know that anybody's adopted one yet, but they're getting closer like Culpeper is. But you can see we're still sitting pretty low, even at 44 cents if we were to go to that, compared to Rappahannock, Fauquier, Orange, and Madison. Each of these counties may sit a little bit lower than what they advertised as well, but this is what they have advertised. There's a lot to consider for the future. Culpeper continues to grow. We've seen a steady growth rate for a number of years now. And this is just a reminder from me as I look at the county budget going forward that we do need to be cognizant of the fact that we will have other needs potentially, not only with school construction, but jail needs, fire and rescue needs, and courthouse needs that we've recently talked about. I think it's very important as the board moves forward and wanted folks to know that set-aside balance for debt management will be critical. Or just debt management in general will be critical as we move forward. We continue to have both personal property and real estate tax rates, as you saw on the previous screen, that are not just well below our neighbors, but really throughout the Commonwealth. Culpeper sits in a really good position as far as tax rates go. And that is something to continue to aspire towards as we do continue to grow with services and needs. Mr. Chairman, we have advertised for 2 public hearings tonight. By law, we're required to do that. The first will be for the budget that I just briefly summarized. The full budget document was posted on board docs. The advertisement was also posted on board docs in case you missed it. A little full-page printout in the paper there, but those proposed tax rates are advertised in there as well. The second hearing will be on the tax rates alone. First is for the hearing. The board won't necessarily take any action tonight, but at the May 6th meeting, which is your next regularly scheduled meeting, that'll be in the morning. Hopefully, the board will be in a position to adopt not only the tax rates, but the budget itself, and then approve appropriation resolution for FY26, which would take place July 1st of this year. Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, take 30 seconds. It's a big document. It takes a lot of work. It was my first one sitting in this spot. And our finance director who's sitting over there, who should probably be doing the presentation, I'm doing it. But she's a big reason why it came together so well, as you all know. Each year it's a big part of it. The Board of Supervisors, you all have worked hard over the past few months to put this budget in a position at least to have the public hearing tonight. And all the various county departments, the school board, Human Services Board, citizen comments, it takes a lot to put it together, and that's the way it should be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. McLaren. And I would like to echo on behalf of the board, a big thank you to yourself, the county staff, Ms. Lamb, for putting this budget together. And yes, Sam, this was your first budget, and it was not an easy first budget either. But I think you've gotten through this very well, and thank you very much to everyone for all that you've done. With that, I'd like to open it up to the board for any questions. If there are no questions, we will open the public hearing, and anyone is welcome to come forward tonight with comments regarding the proposed budget. If you come on up, come to the microphone. Please state your name and magisterial district. And
I have a complaint regarding assessment of my land.
this is, come up to the microphone, please.
South Culpeper, South Merrimack Road.
Okay.
They increased the assessment for my property with $39,000. That's very much increase.
Ma'am, this is a public hearing which is limited to comments on the budget that we're proposing here tonight. And if you have an issue with your reassessment, if you wait until after the meeting, we can help you with who to direct those comments to.
Tonight?
We can direct you after.
Oh, tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
after the meeting, okay?
All right.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
David Martin, Stevensburg District. I speak tonight as an advocate for affordable housing, both workforce and income-limited housing, the housing that meets the needs of many current Culpeper residents. The proposed 7.3% real estate tax increase is significant, but understandably needed. Culpeper's decades-long approach to balanced growth, which I strongly support, and its current citizens' needs for better schools, roads, emergency services, and affordable housing requires significant financial investment. But my objection is the way the board has gone about dealing with Culpeper's financial needs. Beginning 3 years ago with the election of my supervisor, Supervisor Gugino, and the re-election of Supervisor Rosenberg to what will now be his 40th year as a supervisor, a slim majority of this board have systematically waged a war on property rights while simultaneously giving away immeasurable sums of tax incentives to a small number of developers. If their goal was to make Culpeper unaffordable for blue-collar workers, their efforts have succeeded. Our taxes are going up, and the cost of housing is skyrocketing to a crisis level. The average home in value in Culpeper is approaching $500,000, and these tax increases, while needed, will increase the real estate taxes to over $200 a month for the average homeowner. The casualties of these efforts are Culpeper citizens that need affordable housing and those that have their livelihoods invested in their property. As you move forward this year, please consider the needs of all of Culpeper citizens and balance the needs of preserving our agricultural heritage with our larger community needs for better schools, roads, emergency services, and housing. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Anyone else? Yes, come on up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm going to check the time so I stay on 3 minutes. I am Lynn Richmond Bell. I'm a resident of Cedar Mountain District, our esteemed chairman's district. And I wanted to chat with you a little bit tonight about the mission-mindedness of the budget and how, as a nonprofit specialist, government being a macro nonprofit, for many of you that may or may not have really thought of it in that way, when we think about those investments in our community, and the purpose of the government of Culpeper actually is to promote a prosperous community, ensure the health and safety of citizens as well represented by many of our public safety officials here, and provide educational opportunities as our commitment to public schools and the renovation of the middle school and construction of the new elementary school. But with that, I'd also like to talk with you about equity of opportunity. And for me, I've always been very interested in equity of opportunity for where people live, how people live, and their quality of life. Back in 2010, I was one of the original members of the Balanced Growth Alliance that was developed in Fauquier County. And obvious by those statistics that you had on the screen earlier, Fauquier has struggled with their own tax rates. I know Mr. Lee might know some of that from his experience in the public school system there in Fauquier. Nonetheless, I think as we look at investments here, it is very important for quality of life for the citizens who use particular services here, but also for the citizens who provide those services here. As Mr. Martin so well spoke about the blue-collar workers and their ability to live in an environment where the average house costs $500,000, $500,000. That's 5 zeros. So keep that in mind as you execute and consider a budget where you're making investments as a monopoly of government because you have no competition. So what are the options? The options are to think out of the box about not only housing, but about commercial and industrial revenue. For me, as an advocate for affordable housing, I think that is the best way to create a diverse and well-rounded economy that has multiple revenue streams so that you are not totally relying only on property taxes. You guys are not, but let's think about a diverse revenue stream. And that way you are ensuring equity of opportunity for housing and for a quality of life for every citizen of Culpeper. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Larry Green, Salem District. I'm here tonight on behalf of myself and the Republican Party. I talked to this board several years ago, back when John Coates was here. And I told him, I said, John, y'all not planning for the future. And y'all kept on, and Mr. Rosenberg was part of that committee at that time. You kept kicking the can down the road. Well, you're in the road. I noticed you had up here on the board that you received $1.7 million in profits. You turned down $11 million in the data center profits. I know those are exact figures. You talk about tax incentives, and with the tax of the assessed value of homes that's going up. Either way you look at it, taxes are going to go up in this county. The board has given away over $200 million or more in tax incentives over the next 5 years. That could have paid for the school you've got to build. That could have paid for the courthouse you've got to build. This is all due to poor fiscal planning. Y'all have let the people down of Culpeper County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to come and speak? Anyone else? One more. Please tell us your name and magisterial district.
Good evening. I'm Doris Clatterbuck, and I'm from Salem District. And I know a lot of you all up here. I just recently retired from Culpeper Human Services after 34 years with the state. I'm on a limited income. And this, between the assessment that I got for my land, not my house, but my land, went up over $50,000 in value. My house didn't go up. I've done nothing to it. And then I hear that you're going to raise the rate 3 cents more on top of what we already pay. Y'all need to look out for the elderly, the seniors in the community, ones that are on limited income, and stop raising the taxes year after year of what you're doing. Cut some of the other stuff. I'm not saying the budget is the budget. You gotta live, you gotta make the budget. I'm not against that. But what I am against is you've allowed all of these high-class builders come to Culpeper and build all these houses out toward Mr. Rosenberger's district, here in the town, that's all being assessed. Make them build the schools. If you want the schools, make them build the schools. If they want to build the houses, let them build the schools. Let them, there's all of those houses got kids in them, anywhere from 3 to maybe 6. So you gotta stop. You gotta look at the big picture. You gotta look at the elderly people in here, and also you need to look at personal property. There are a lot of cars and vehicles in Culpeper County that don't have Virginia state tags on it. And they're driving the roads just like I am. If I gotta pay, they should pay. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to come and speak?
Why they increase that much the assessment for the land?
We will take, we can, come on up, ma'am.
Yeah, why
Come
they
on up.
increase $39,000 for my 3-acre land?
This is a public hearing. We are listening to what you have to say.
Culpeper have now 1,000, I think, 100 of home built now. Where are those taxes? Why they increase the assessment for the land? Why so much, $39,000? Is this fair? You don't live in this county? Think about people. You live in this county. Where do you want to go? $1 million home? To increase that much? Why? I didn't make any improvement to my land. No driveway improvement, no nothing. My land depreciate, many holes in my land, and do you increase the value, the assessment? Why? Because you want to make more money on our back? This is not fair, people. Yeah, it's not fair. All of you live in this county.
Thank you very much.
This is shame. Yeah, believe me. Yeah, all of you live in this county. But you don't want to talk.
Is there anyone else that would like to come and speak?
Yeah, I'm very angry about that.
Okay, seeing no one else, we will close the public hearing.
For my assessment.
Our next item of business is the board will receive public comments on the proposed real estate personal property tax. And Mr. McLaren, would you like to present that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There will be a Board of Equalization that has been set where folks can appear before the Board of Equalization to challenge their assessments. And there's a board that's been appointed to do that, and the applications start May 1st.
It'll be in the paper in the next week or so, telling people exactly how to do that.
Mr. Chairman, on the screen is the
Mr. Chairman, if you could we repeat that, please, and a little clearer so that people understand that they have an avenue that they can contest these
Certainly.
assessments?
Mr.
If you
Chairman.
would, please.
Mr. Chairman, each time we do a reassessment, which was done every 2 years now in Culpeper County, they're based on comps, they're based on sales, real sales that have occurred in the county. We did see an increase this year, as Lady spoke on, for a lot of folks. You can challenge those, and it goes before what we call a Board of Equalization. And those applications can be filed starting on May 1st. And that won't be this board. It'll be a separate board that will look at the assessment. It's an application to appear before the Board of Equalization to probably do what you want to do, which is challenge your assessment, by the sounds of it.
It'll be advertised in the paper in the next week or so. You're going to see it, and it'll tell you exactly how to go before the board, how to contact us, and basically there'll be, I think, 3 hearing dates that we're going to have over the summer months. The first one starting in June. There'll be a June one, a July one, and another one at the very 1st of August, I believe. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but nonetheless, there'll be opportunities for anyone that wants to challenge their assessment to appear before that Board of Equalization that's been recommended by the board and appointed by the circuit court judges of the entire circuit to hear your claims as far as your assessment, why it may be in error.
And ma'am, if you wait till after the meeting, we can give you some specifics about how to follow up on that. And the meeting shouldn't be real late tonight, so if you hang around after, see me, and we will get you some specifics on how to do that. Okay?
Mr. Kirby made an assessment.
Yeah.
I called him, but he didn't want to call me back.
We will help you out with that.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
McLaren.
Yes, just a second part of our 2-part public hearing that's been advertised tonight is for the tax rates themselves. On the screen just summarizes what we have advertised for potential increase to your real estate, as I mentioned, and then no changes for personal property. And I'll leave that on the screen.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. McLaren? If not, we will open the public hearing on the tax rate. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak? Anyone? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. And there is no other business on the agenda. Is there a move to adjourn? So moved. We're adjourned. Thank you.